You are listening to Peak One Sports.
All right, what is up, everybody? I am Neon Super Shrimp, and this is the sports page. What is up? Oh man, am I lagging a little bit here? Sorry.
You know, I talked a little out of turn there, man.
All right,
you're good, man.
I'm reckless. I host.
I was gonna say we got this week we got a short cast. This week we got Ashton Nix with us as always, and my buddy Kenny, aka Reckless, from our newest podcast, Shut the Puck Up. What's going on, guys? How's your week been?
Did you pronounce that P enough? Puck.
Yeah,
That was close.
P and F sounds good. Oddly enough, Dan, that's really funny you bring that up because my daughter yesterday described the podcast or the show that me and Adam host as to my son as use the F word there. Shut the fuck up. I'm like, Lily, it's fuck, like hockey. She goes, I know, but you gave me a free pass on this one. I'm like, come on. You know, teenagers are gonna teenage.
She's not lying. She's not lying.
Yeah, you give them an inch, man. You know,
Inch and they take a mile.
Wow. All right, boys. Well, we got plenty to talk about. I'm pretty excited. We're definitely going to be talking about NFL draft and some of these NFC teams we'd be rooting for. Our expectations / hopes for how they'll do.
Before we go further, can we congratulate Reggie Bush on getting his second Heisman? 20 years after he got the first one?
The oldest player to get a Heisman trophy. No.
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I was always surprised that he gave it back to begin with. I mean, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have.
It's mine.
Get it? Like,
yeah. Right? What are you gonna do?
To me, it's kind of like
the Heisman.
It's like Pete Rose territory. Like he didn't cheat in the sense on the football field, you know. And I'm not a big Reggie Bush fan in general, but it's like, yeah, he broke the rules, but it had nothing to do with the game. So why are you
Heisman.
Taking? I mean, yeah, that's a different conversation. I agree with you, but that's a different conversation where why are you? It had nothing to do with the actual game. So you're taking away an award.
Here's the thing, guys. I disagree with Vince Young on the one take. Reggie Bush was the only reason that team was there against Texas. Vince Young had weapons.
Here's probably my unpopular opinion here. I think Vince Young should have won the Heisman, but if Vince Young wins the Heisman, USC wins the national championship.
Oh, 100%.
You think so? Yeah.
I think Vince Young was so mad about being slighted.
He had a chip on his shoulder for sure.
The other thing, because I've absolutely loved this stat and I've remembered it ever since it happened, okay? Vince Young was the first quarterback in NCAA history to throw for 250 plus and rush for 200 plus in a single game, and he did it twice that season. The second time he did it was in the Rose Bowl against USC.
Yeah,
dude, that was honestly probably the best college football game I've ever seen in my life.
It was incredible. It was probably still one of my favorite games to this day. One of my favorite
outside of games. What was that? Ohio State, Miami. Outside of Ohio State, Miami, I think that game might be my favorite. 3. Ohio State, Miami, was that 3? 2003?
Was it 2000? Yeah, it was early 2000s.
Early 2000s,
yeah.
But outside of that game, you know, that USC Texas Rose Bowl, oh man.
Great
game. Instant classic. One of the best games I've ever played.
It really was. And there was great back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a really great game.
My whole point isn't Reggie Bush from Texas? Like originally? Wasn't he born in Texas?
I think
he was like Louisiana or something.
Was it Louisiana? I couldn't remember if it was Texas.
I could be wrong. I'm just thinking.
Either way, the whole point was congrats Reggie Bush on, the NCAA finally doing the right thing.
Right. I mean, he deserved it. He didn't deserve to have it taken away from him in the first place.
No, because of actions of Pete Carroll. No.
And at least it worked out that he got it back, I guess. So yeah, I agree. Props to the NCAA for doing the right thing for a change.
Well,
all right,
now
before we
since we're
get
talking,
too much deeper into
one
it, because we
question for
definitely
you.
go for it.
Did you guys see Arch Manning? His spring
Yes.
game highlights?
Spring game, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
First
my
throw,
goodness.
75-yard dime for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Ridiculous.
And
As an Ohio
Quinn-
State alumni
Quinn
and
Ewers
fan,
will still be the starter. So
yeah, but-
That's going to be kind of
unfortunate.
interesting. Yeah. That's going to be interesting.
Quinn Ewers will definitely still be, but he'll be on a short leash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He starts
Sorry
making
for
some
stepping
mistakes
on you,
earlier in
Dan.
the season, and no, you're good. Great topic, to be honest. I mean, but yeah, Quinn Ewers will be on a short leash. He makes, one too many mistakes early on, and I don't think it'll take too much for him to switch.
No, not with that video all over the internet. It's. I think it hit like 150 million views, that throw, and everybody's just like, they're just like, oh, yep, de facto. If they don't start him, he's going to transfer.
Well, the crazy thing is too, and not as talked about, but the Longhorns' third-string quarterback also had a pretty decent day in that game. I can't remember his stats off the top of my head now, but I was checking out there. Manning starter by week 5. Glow Up Media, maybe, probably, yes, right. I feel like that's what I'm saying.
They play
I'm just saying
Michigan
the
early
over-under.
on. I mean, it's going to be
Yeah,
a
but that
tough
Michigan team is depleted. Now is missing scholarships, and they haven't even gotten the actual Harbaugh punishment yet. And they have a coach who's never really coached a team on his own. No Blake Corum, no JJ McCarthy.
But does that make it
defense
even look
is
worse
all in the
if Texas
NFL.
If Texas loses to them? Does that even make it look worse though?
Oh,
It is a
way
depleted
worse.
team, yeah.
Way worse. But I don't think they will. I think do you guys
I
go
hope
to
not.
Michigan, or they come to you, or is it neutral?
It's back and forth. No, they have like a 2 or 3 game
Contract.
back and forth contract for the next few years. So I don't know if it starts this year. So I don't know if it's. I want to say it's in
I'm not sure.
at Michigan. I think it's at Michigan.
It's early in the year though, so I mean you don't got to worry with
like
the cold. You don't got to
Week
worry.
2, I believe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't got to worry about the snowballs. You don't got to worry about the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little cooler than Texas, but
I mean, even
if I
in the
gotta-
snow
if-
though, man, playing in the big houses,
right, it can't be
incredible
easy.
stadium.
It
No,
can't
no,
be easy.
but I mean,
110,000 people. Like
oh, for sure.
at Ohio Stadium, the Horseshoes, 108,000. Like they got 2,000 to 3,000 more than us before you start counting standing room.
Yeah.
Like, but I still like way too early prediction. I do not see Texas having much trouble there. In all honesty, I do not think Michigan will be as well coached, and I do not think the crop that they have incoming
that'll be the big,
incoming is gonna be difference makers. In all honesty,
yeah. No, and I mean, losing Harbaugh's a big deal for them. So, all right, before we get into the rest of the topics, I briefly want to talk Rangers, and then we'll talk about these playoffs, both NBA and NHL, before we get into the draft. But let's shout out these partners and sponsors that we got here. Oh, sorry, got distracted by the stars for a second. Partners and sponsors. Kenny, my bet's not doing so great. You got some advice for me?
I do have some advice for you there, Dan. And the first step is going to be you got to hop online and you got to go to Betalytics. You're not going to drive your car blind. You're not going to drive your car drunk. Why bet blind or drunk? Go to Betalytics, use their AI machines, and make sure you use the promo code PEAK1, 25% off when you sign up. If you sign up today, again, Betalytics.com. Go. Trust me. Get the AI advice. AI has been writing TV shows for how many years now? Doing a great job. They made that hilarious episode of South Park. Why can't they help your bets? Once again, Betalytics.com. Promo code PEAK1, 25% off. Go do it.
And I had a close bet last week. I just needed Seager to go yard, and he's just been so cold. But anyway, local dog trainer we got here in the Fort Worth area, the Dapper Dog Academy stands out as a top-notch canine training institute located here in Cleveland, Texas, and serving the DFW Metroplex. Owner-trainer Korri Bennett has nearly 10 years experience helping your canine companions become the best versions of themselves. With personalized training programs tailored to suit your pup's unique personality and needs, Korri's committed to helping your pet reach their full potential. So reach out Academy on Facebook and schedule your consultation today.
I bet you Korri could get my dog to wear the hat.
Man, she loves getting some of those special requests like that every once in a while. People want things like that. And I mean, like off leash, walk training is always really popular too. But getting their dogs to like be comfortable wearing like hats and clothes and things like that. Sometimes people ask for that kind of stuff. So she's awesome. She's really good. I may be a little partial here too, though. Ashton. Name me a great energy drink that won't make me so like jittery and whatnot.
Look, man, if you're looking for a superior energy drink to replace inferior caffeinated beverages, I think I might have what you're looking for. It's harder to promote energy drinks these days because you have those keyboard Karens that say, you know what that's doing to the inside of your body. I get that. Most of the time I have no idea what's in the inside of my body, but I know Dubby, you got it right, the logo right there. Dubby contains 0 sugar, 0 maltodextrin. I think I'm saying that word right. I'm not even sure. 0 fillers, 0 artificial colors or dyes, 0 proprietary blends. It's the coffee fruit extract. I'm trying to get this. I need to drink some of this. We're testing out a taste tonight, so I haven't had any of this yet. I'd be more focused, but
I know, right?
Coffee fruit extract. That's the star of this beverage, helping you focus. It's a focus. And energize without the jitters or crash. Order Dubby today using promo code PEAK1 and enjoy 10% off your order. Actually, I think up until tomorrow, you get 20% off on our promo code. I got an email letting us know I got it yesterday, letting us know for like the next 48 hours. So I think sometime tomorrow you have. So if you want to order it tonight or you're watching this tomorrow morning, go ahead and do it. You should get 20% off on your order. So maybe place a bigger order, get a couple of these bad boys.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a little groggy in the morning, right?
Yeah, these are great. We tested these. This isn't going to be an energy one. This is one of the
the hydro
ones. But we had an energy one.
Oh, that's perfect for me because I can't do that.
We tasted the energy energy last week. Show's 9:00. We got finished about 10:30. Me and Dan talked on here for a little bit, and then I didn't have an issue going to bed after that. Just a few hours after consuming this, and I wasn't jittery. There was no crash. It was great. So if you're pounding those Monster Energy drinks and people keep telling you, and you're like, I need them. Maybe go to this. Maybe go to Dubby.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I'm caffeine sensitive. If you're telling me no jittery, no nothing, I'm gonna have to try that because I can't. Like outside of a Coca-Cola, I can't handle like even a coffee without my stomach getting all gurgly and jittery.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times
I cut off all those rippets from all those years in the Army.
Oh yeah. Well, this one's
that's cool.
watermelonada. It's a watermelon lemonade, and this one's like we were saying. It's not even like the energy one. This one's just a Dubby Hydro, so it's caffeine-free hydration formula. Like good for post-workout.
A little wine scent right here, just smelling it.
Yeah, check the legs. Make sure the legs are good.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty good. Not too strong. It's not too much.
All right, so I'm gonna pretend like I'm joining you guys, but really I'm just drinking water from my water bottle here.
Hey, don't say that. You're ruining the magic. Come on.
Hey, listen. I live in Pennsylvania, man. I'm not getting the Dallas packages. That's fair.
You're not wrong.
All right. Well, the Stars are still competing here against the Vegas Knights. It's still 0-0. Let's talk these Rangers just a little bit. Rangers game still happening right now. Bottom of the 6th, 2-1 Rangers. They are playing here at home, and they did just end their longest away stint of the season. It was 17 games, I believe. But the good news is that is our longest away stint of the season. We got it out of the way early. Don't have to do that again. So that's good news, especially for a Rangers team that is struggling at the moment. Seager is actually, well, before this game started, I'm not sure how he's doing tonight, but before tonight's game started, he's been like 0 for his last 14 at bats. He's also only had like 1 home run. It's been pretty slow for my boy Seager. Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford are both also struggling. Bochy's not worried about it. I don't think I'm worried about it either. Just trying to like find that rhythm. Spot listener Stroh's doing worse. I mean, that makes me feel better. I mean, as a Rangers
That's
fan.
because they can't cheat anymore.
10 games under 500 for the first time since like 2016 or something like that.
Hey, listen, I'm not even a baseball guy. I'm just gonna say good. You get caught cheating as bad as they did. You know what? Pete Rose is banned from the Hall of Fame. Take the damn trophy away from the Astros.
I mean,
that's my opinion. That's one man's opinion.
I feel like
didn't cheat or do anything with the game, and just like the same as Reggie Bush. What Reggie Bush had nothing to do with the field on field play. What they did I'm not gonna say they couldn't have won the World. I don't know, but they messed with the game, physically messed with the game, and that's bad enough. I don't know. I'm biased. I'm a Rangers fan, but you know.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. The best time I ever had a baseball game was at a Texas Rangers baseball game. I was stuck at Fort Sill, which is horrible, as Dan will tell everybody here. If you've ever been to Oklahoma, don't ever. But
just don't.
You just don't. But I got to go to Texas Rangers ballpark. What's it called now? Camara? No, not Camara. What's the name of the ballpark now?
Globe Life Field, the new one.
Yeah.
Globe Life Park was the old one. But yeah, it used to be AmeriQuest Field and the ballpark in Arlington.
It's always been the ballpark in Arlington for me.
Yeah. But it's still that same ballpark across from Six Flags over Texas.
They built a new ballpark in 2020.
It's literally right across the street from the old ballpark, but the old ballpark is still standing.
Oh, well, the old ballpark, that's the most fun I've ever had in a ball field in my entire life. Watching a baseball game. I saw the Texas Rangers. I almost got clobbered in the head with a baseball because we got the Army got us tickets on the first baseline, and I went like this, and the dude behind me got the ball. He's like, "Why'd you duck?" I'm like, "Do you see that thing?"
Why did you duck? You could have gotten hit by the ball instead of me. Why did you duck? God.
Oh no, he caught it. Homie just was like, "Donk." I'm like, better man than me.
Because I'm not a baseball player. That's why I ducked.
Ooh, Rangers scoring 4-1 now, which really just helps bring me into my point here. The Rangers are 12-12 right now, and I like this stat. I heard this the other day. Bruce Bochy, in his time as a Ranger, has never been under 500.
Really?
Okay. So now, since you're talking baseball, I got a question for you
here.
Because I outsourced this question. Are the Royals for real? Because I don't watch enough baseball to have an actual opinion. Are the Royals for real with their run?
I don't think I've watched enough Royals baseball to even be able to know.
They're just on a crazy run. It was like all over ESPN, everywhere else. Apparently, they got some young phenom who's hitting the ball all over the place, and their defense is fantastic. Again, I don't know enough about baseball to have a real, honest, true opinion.
They're winning right now. I mean, they're 14-10. I mean, that's bad. I mean, they were near last. They were bottom of the barrel last year.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, to be honest, every other division is doing so much better than the AL West and the Rangers right now. We win this game against Seattle, and we go up half a game and back into first place in the West, but we would still be the first place team with the worst record, so I mean, it's tough. It's tough out here.
Then the other thing, you ain't first, you're last. But then the other thing somebody brought up to me was, especially being on the East Coast, since we're talking baseball, the Boston Red Sox DL right now currently has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're like 15 to 20 people on it.
Yeah, they're really.
How is that possible? And then, of course, let's
I
go
want to
Mets.
say the Red Sox. Don't make me name them on their roster, but like 2 of their best players went down in the same day.
Oh yeah, no, I was just that's the only reason I know is I was looking it up.
But I mean it's very similar for the Rangers. But my point is, it's like the Rangers are still managing to stay 500 plus. We've got guys getting ready to come off of injury. Max Scherzer should be back in a couple of weeks. Heim should be back sooner. Young's not going to be back until like July or June, July, something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've got guys like
playing.
coming back that should help us like elevate our play. We obviously need guys like Seager to find their rhythm. We'd like, Wyatt Langford to perform a little bit better than what he's obviously doing right now. Evan Carter's only batting 200. You'd like to see an increase there as well. But I mean, all in all, the struggles that the Rangers are facing feel pretty mild for where we are as far as injuries are concerned and like where we're headed,
Especially if you can win 500 baseball. Like you're at 500.
Yeah, until
ain't
like
nothing wrong with that.
Scherzer and Jacob deGrom get back, and we can really get.
Oh, you're just going to talk about all my old favorite Mets. Yeah, we're going to talk about them. Cool. Thanks. I don't miss them up here.
I mean,
up here.
No problem. They're now my favorite Rangers. So
DeGrom just needed to move the Rangers to get that ring. Couldn't get it in with the Mets.
I got to be honest with you. You guys are AL, so you know what? Go Rangers. I'll root for you guys this year until you face my team.
I love the Mets.
Smart.
Man.
We have.
You love the Mets? Yeah. Welcome to getting your heart broken 24/7.
Hey, I'm a Cowboys fan. I know all about that. Look at my jersey. I'm a Cowboys fan.
Oh, bull crap. You're my age, Ashton. You remember the Aikman years. You got good years. You got Aikman and Dion.
I was still
and
young.
You know what's coming?
I do remember, but I took it for granted. I was such a young kid.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what's coming next, though?
Have y'all seen the
Coach
picture?
Prime's coming to Dallas. I'll bet $100 right now. Within 5 years, Coach Prime will be the coach.
The picture of it's Aikman, Romo.
Oh yeah, the Dak picture.
And it's like, can you believe it? 3 Super Bowl rings in one picture.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm a big Romo fan. Sorry, I had to move my cat from knocking over my food.
Super Bowl. I feel like I'll probably say it until the.
In all honesty, Romo got a bad rap. I think you guys ran him out of town. Unfortunately, Dallas going to the power play. By the way, about 3:35 less in the first.
Still scoreless.
I think still scoreless. Which is honestly.
Yeah, they're on a power play right now. So let's see something happen.
Or no, they did. I'm not going to say that.
Well,
I guess my app is ahead of that. My app says it's 1-0, but that could.
Oh well, maybe.
Yeah, it is. Jake Robertson.
There it is. Yep.
There it is.
There it is. You called it on the power play. Love it. Robertson.
That's in all honesty, that was one of the guys. Oh, he's got to be a super sophomore. I think it's his 3rd year.
Is it his 3rd?
Right?
Robertson? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be his 3rd year in.
Right? No, he wasn't.
No.
He's good, man. He's good. All right, let's change lanes a little bit here, and we'll talk the Mavericks a little bit and their playoff performance. That game 1 was a real nut buster. You score 8 points in the second quarter. I don't think anyone's going to win that game. I think the thing that frustrates me the most there, they scored 8 points in the second quarter. The Clippers scored 22. It's a difference of 14. You lost the game by 12. So, I mean, if you would have managed to even just keep up in the second quarter and score more than 8 points, you might have potentially could have kept yourself in this game.
You would have been shooting distance.
Yeah. Luka put up 33. Kyrie put up 31. The rest of the team put up 33. You need a better performance out of your bench. You got to get more than 33 points out. I mean, Luka puts up his points. He's averaging like 33 to 35 a game. Kyrie also puts.
He's the best player in the NBA right now too.
Well, yeah, and between Luka and Kyrie, they're the best scoring duo in the league. but they can't do it alone.
I don't think it's anybody close.
Like you need points off the bench, whether it's coming from Washington or whoever. You need guys to.
But you brought up 8. You brought up 8 points. My 76ers had an 8-point lead and blew it in 16 seconds the other night against the Knicks.
That's hard to do.
I
feel like if you would just sit your players down, I still think that's pretty difficult to do, to let the other team do. Don't even defend,
I mean, did you see the buzzer beater Denver put up to make it 2-0 against the Lakers? Because that was...
I did not.
I'll tell you that,
I went
in
home
that
before
moment,
that.
I almost started to feel bad for Lakers fans. Almost. I didn't, but I saw that, and I'm like, oh, that's rough. That's rough to deal with. I'll tell you that.
That's not a...
I don't know if we're moving to game 2 yet. I don't want to jump over, but game 2, I know would give Jason Kidd criticism for being his coaching or lack thereof. His game plan defensively, I've never seen a Mavericks team play better defense. At least I don't remember. And I want to. It was Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George combined had 0 points when Luka was guarding them. And Luka, you think of he's not very great defensively. He did not give up 1 point to those 3 guys anytime he was defending them. And I don't know exactly what got into Luka. I know he had a technical, but he went off.
Yeah, he was chirping at the ref for not calling a foul on a tough layup he made.
And that ever since that technical, I think he just, I don't know. It had the correct effect on him to. Yeah. I think that's like a lot of players, like when they played the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals a couple of years ago. I think a lot of the players, the Golden State Warriors players, were kind of joking around with him. I think it's like they're trying to keep him happy and laughing, and because they don't want to get him upset and mad. Because it's frustrating when he mouths off and complains, but he plays crazy when he's angry. Am I still there? Oh, okay. I see you pulled up something.
Yeah. No, this is that buzzer beater here by Denver.
I don't even think the Lakers. I mean, obviously, when you give up a 20-point lead, you have to make the mistake.
But the back and forth here at the end of this game was really good. I think there's another one. Is this it?
This actually, kind of brings me to a question I had for you guys.
Yeah, we don't need to watch a 5-minute clip.
But this actually brings me to a question I had for you guys.
Share later,
the 76ers versus Knicks. The Sixers dropped 2 heartbreakers
Vegas
in a row.
tied it.
That's I didn't want to step over anybody. Weird odd man rush. March so buried a open net. But that brings me to the question about my 76ers. I used to be a New Jersey Nets fan, but they moved to Brooklyn. And then I stopped caring about basketball. So now my son likes basketball. So he picked the Sixers. So go Sixers. But 2 heartbreaking losses in a row, including a questionable one the other night with that 8-point run. The Knicks went on with several questionable fouls called, and then the Philadelphia media and coaching staff calling out officiating. Twofold question: can the Sixers recover? Is the next game called fair? Or do they get the benefit of the doubt, or do they get every ref looking at him like, you called my buddy out, you're a dick? Sorry if I can't use that language. You're a jerk.
No, you're good.
No,
I don't know that I don't know that it has an effect one way or the other because of that, but it's more likely that it's going to be the latter, and the refs just aren't, not that they're going to call an unfair game necessarily, but they're going to have that bone to pick. And when it's a borderline call, they're like, screw it, foul or no foul. We're going to let it get, I don't know that refs necessarily, I know they feel that way. I don't know, how far it goes into, because now the magnifying glass is on them. They're like, okay, well, we have to, clean things up because of that. Now people are looking. For your first question, it's still the New York Knicks. Until the Knicks make it back to the finals, I don't think they're all there. They had a great regular season, but I think it's right there for the taking. Just win game 3, split game 4 and 5, one way or the other, and then the pressure's on the Knicks to finish it out. And
For sure.
I mean, they have a great chance. The Sixers, I think, are a better team than the Knicks.
Well, that's if Joel Embiid decides he wants to play.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean,
that's my biggest problem watching the Sixers.
I was expecting this one to be a fairly close series, and I mean the rivalry is high in this one too. And I'm pretty sure the statistics are against you here, playing down 2 games. But I don't see why they couldn't fight this back and definitely take it to a game 7, which I expect, to be honest. Kyle Harrison says Knicks in 5, but in all honesty, this next game, kind of like what you're saying, Kenny, and I guess what you're saying too, Ashton, I almost expect like an overcorrection here from the refs, in the sense that like they'll call a lot less and like let them play more, unless it's just an absolute like flagrant, obvious foul. I think they're going to let these guys play a lot more. They'll blow a lot fewer whistles and worry about that kind of thing later. But I mean, I feel like that tends to be kind of how it is a lot when you like call out a ref for like making bad calls, and then they just kind of like come back by not making calls. And
I mean, as a referee personally,
it's kind of a petty, in my opinion, like a petty way to come back at it. But
that's right, you are a referee.
I understand.
Over 20 years ref in hockey. Anybody ever watched Letterkenny? I am Shorzy. You talk to me, I'll talk to you the exact same damn way.
So if a coach goes
to me,
off
you're not
on
getting
you,
a penalty the first 10 times.
If a coach goes off on you early in the game, does that affect how you're going to call the game for his team at all? Because you're a professional. You're gonna.
It'll depend. Now, are we talking like mini mites, like the little kids, or are we talking, high school kids? Because that changes things completely. If you're a mini mite coach and you're cursing and screaming at me, oh yeah, no, you're gonna have a hard time. If you're a high school coach and you're screaming at me about a call, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna calmly explain it to you twice. If you're gonna keep screaming at me and be like, hey, coach, listen, I made the call the way I saw it. You see it differently. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Let's move on. I don't want to have to toss you. And that's the first thing I say to coaches. I don't want to toss you. And it's not baseball. The umps always see him in baseball. See him always like they want to just instantly out. Like Aaron Boone getting tossed the other day for a fan behind the bench yelling something.
I saw that.
Umpires always want to toss. Hockey fans, you know who we'd rather toss? It's the damn moms and dads in the stands.
Yeah, I can
cursing and you screaming at their kids, belittling their children. I'm like, no, get your ass, go stand by the snack bar, eat some damn nachos, and stop yelling at your child. Those are the ones you're most likely. But what you're gonna get, especially in hockey, is every once in a while, once we make a call as a hockey referee, you don't go back on the call. Sometimes you make a bad one. It happens. We're human. There's always a makeup call. There's always one that could have gone either way. The first one you made went the other way. This one's going back the other direction. Yeah. It always, at least with hockey referees, we always try to make sure we call the game as even as humanly possible. Now, if your team's playing like a bunch of jerks and you're taking a bunch of penalties, it is what it is. But when it's, like for best example, tonight's Boston-Toronto game, when it's hard fought and it's a evenly fought match, you're going to let some things go on both teams because you don't want to affect the match. And I feel in watching that Knicks 76ers game, the refs took over the end of the game. And quite frankly, I feel it's happening in all sports at this point, is refs are taking over the end of games. You see it in the NFL all the time.
I can see when things get chippy and, like the Mavericks Clippers game, refs sometimes like, okay, we're going to call these because we have to keep control of the game before a fight breaks out or something like that. But yeah,
absolutely.
Everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. They're being respectful of the game. We're just playing the game. I can see that too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at the end of the game,
hockey
at the end of the game, if it's out of hand.
Yeah, hockey and basketball, in my opinion, are similar in that sense of like, at least from like a coaching standpoint, provided I've never coached hockey or anything, but like I can totally see how you can tell your players it's like, all right, like we committed a penalty here, they'll commit a penalty. Like it's just the way the game is played. There's going to be like this ebb and flow of this back and forth of like committing penalties on each other, and obviously you don't want to go out there like committing like flagrant or like egregious fouls or anything, you know.
Well, no, because in hockey you're going to get yourself tossed.
If you're playing hard and you're playing like good hard defense and you're trying, you know, it just happens. It's part of the game, you know. But not in such a way that like the refs should be able to like take over control and like the final result of the game, really, unless the team is just absolutely being dicks and being flagrant, you know, like. But and you just don't see
what
that.
Was that like Ron Artest?
And everything. It's just not. Yeah.
So was that the brawl at the Coliseum or whatever that was? Was that Ron Artest? Was that 2005?
Malice at the Palace?
Yeah, the Malice. He remembers the Malice at the Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that's like, you know, like the other night, they kicked everybody out in the last 15 seconds of a hockey game because you guys are going to keep like pushing and shoving after the whistle. I've done that a million times. All right, get off. Go to the locker room. The game's 5-1. Why are you guys over here pushing and shoving? You're running over a goalie. Just go to the locker room. All right, you guys want to take? All right, cool. Take the face off. Cool. Go skate over there. Stop. Behave yourselves. So yeah, refs need to keep control. In the same breath, they don't need to control the game and control the outcome.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Ashton, on that. In hockey, you know, you have a lot more fluid range to deal with things. Be able to, you know, skate over to the coach who's yelling at you, calling you a fat ass, telling you to eat more donuts. Be like, Coach, listen, I understand you didn't like my call. Sometimes that happens. A call is going to go your way eventually. Maybe not by me. Maybe not this game. Maybe next game. Maybe the game after that. It evens out in hockey, at least in my opinion. I think it evens out the best in hockey in terms of the way the calls land. To me, in football, it's whoever the star quarterback is gets, you know, the benefit of the doubt every time.
Yeah.
And hockey to me is the only sport that doesn't do that.
I don't know. Are you allowed to come out with good comebacks? Like they say, go eat some more donuts, fat ass. You're like, are you hitting on me? You gonna take me on a date to go? You know,
I have on more than one occasion told a coach that his mother may or may not have eaten donuts off of a certain part of my body that I will not mention as a comeback.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, that'll end it.
Just always making friends, you know.
Hey,
all right,
listen,
I almost hate talking about it a little bit just because the game's currently going, but let's talk stars in NHL for just a few minutes before we jump into the draft.
Oh, I have notes.
Kenny,
I have lots of notes.
You really pissed me off watching that last Stars Vegas game because this son of a bitch was definitely saying last week, like, oh, you guys don't want to play the Vegas Knights. You would rather play the Kings because Vegas pulls this stuff. Like, this is what they do. And
now they're
damn it, Kenny.
You predicted it. Now they're miraculously in full health.
Oh, who scored it? By the way, who scored the game winner?
You know who scored the game winner. You don't have to.
Yeah. So he was magically unable to play last week, right? You know, 2 weeks ago, unable to play game 82.
And I watched your stream, y'all's first episode. You called that.
Yeah, you called
like
that.
He's
and that Carolina game. Called that score on the Carolina game. Yeah.
What I'm most proud of is I broke the news for Peak One Sports. We were the first to break the news of Utah's trademark filings. So we have the list of team names before ESPN even broke it.
Yep.
Or TSN, which would be the normal one to break it because Canada. But in terms of the Stars, what the Stars need to do is exactly what they're doing tonight so far. Ottinger's played better.
For sure.
And you're getting Robertson involved, and the defense is collapsing in the way they need to counteract Mark Stone being on the ice. Unfortunately, the Stars had to prepare for no Mark Stone because, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. Now, magically, Mark Stone's back.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with a lot of the comments online from Stars fans. Just call up an AHLer and have him go out there and punch Mark Stone in the spleen. Is what the number one comment from Stars fans was. Although I still think you guys have this series. I think it's going 7 games, and I think it's gonna be a battle every single game, which is actually gonna be cool because you guys are kind of building Boston, Toronto South, which is in terms of, I'm trying not to curse my best here, but in terms of as a hockey fan, that's really freaking cool. Like to have Southwest, like that, a rivalry down Southwest like that. There's, what do we got? We got the Devils, Rangers, Flyers, Islanders all hate each other. Although we all kind of don't hate the Islanders so much because we just pity them. We all just kind of sort of hate each other in that 3-team cluster.
Maybe you remember this stat. I saw this the other day, but Islanders hadn't lost a game. They were up by 3 goals since like 1958.
Oh, they didn't exist then. But,
something like that. Yeah, maybe it was 68, something like that. It's been like 50 years or something like that. Like they basically like never lost a game when they were up.
Yeah, so it had to be since like the 3 Stanley Cup run.
Don't lose games when you're up 3-0.
Yeah, that's one of those weird stats. Like, well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can throw this hasn't happened in 100 years, and like, oh, that's a big deal. But
all right, actually, Dan, since we're throwing out weird stats.
A team hasn't lost a basketball game by being up by 8 points in 16 seconds since the 76ers or something.
Well, the 76ers are going to do it 2 more times before the end of the playoffs. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That said, Dan, I sent you my favorite weird hockey stat of the day today. In your text messages.
Was it that international score?
No, even better. It is through the first period of tonight's Toronto-Boston game, all but 3 players total between both rosters had registered a check. That has never happened in NHL history. The Boston Bruins, for the regular season, averaged 27 hits per game.
Yeah.
27. They were 3rd in the league. Currently, Boston in the playoffs is averaging 50 hits per game. And Toronto is averaging 48. Love playoff hockey. Love it. It is just physicality. Sure. But that stat, I was like, and then it was 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the second period that the last 3 players had registered a hit. It would mark the first time in about 45 years that the NHL has had every single player active on a roster who was on the bench register a hit in a game.
The one I was talking about was bringing this to you from the IIHF Under 18 World Qualifier, where Thailand beat Kuwait 57
nothing.
Kuwait had 1 shot on goal, and the weirdest part about that is that's the
how many did Thailand have?
I just took a screenshot of the thing.
120.
It was a high number compared to 1. But the weirdest part about that is that's the second worst defeat in international hockey history. I don't know what the first one is, but 57-0 is the second one. Do you know? I hope you know.
It was I believe it was Team Canada versus Team China. I could have the 2 teams wrong, but if memory serves, it was 111-0.
Canada knows how to play them some hockey.
111-0, which would, in a 60-minute hockey game, a goal and a half a minute.
I like to see who the highest scoring player was in that game. Does somebody have like 30 goals?
3, maybe the goalie.
Yeah. No, I said 30, maybe 30. Yeah, I don't know how that's.
I'm like, I don't know, maybe the goalie.
Like everybody has about 8 or 9 goals in that one. Yeah, sorry to get off.
But that brings us further into the NHL playoffs. Do you guys watch the Jets and Avs? Because that's your biggest competition, at least in my opinion, for Stars fans, because I got you guys going deep, is the Avs and the Jets.
They're playing really well.
You know, the Jets are playing like garbage, in all honesty. Well, I mean, the Avs lost game 1, but neither team's playing defense.
Yeah, but they kind of shouldn't have lost that game 1. Whatever it happened.
You put that many goals past Hellebuck, you normally don't lose.
Yeah.
But Hellebuck, I don't know where the hell he went. Pun intended. He's kind of disappeared completely. Completely disappeared in these playoffs. And that defense, including Morrissey, does not play defense all of a sudden. I expected the Avs to have some troubles on the back end because, you get in Georgiev's head a little bit. The guy can't stop a beach ball. But I did not expect this out of Hellebuck, especially because this is the best team Hellebuck's ever had in front of him. And then here's the other question is now we're going to go back to Boston and Toronto. Can Boston have long-term success? Because it's been 29 games in a row. They have rotated goalies. They'll play one game, play the next game. Play one game, play the next game. Can they keep that going in the playoffs? No team's ever done it in the playoffs to any real success. You got to ride the hot hand in the playoffs. I don't see how Allmark and Swayman, you keep tossing them back and forth. No one can get hot. It's you guys like baseball. It's the playoffs, man. You got your baseball rotation. If you pull one guy out, keep him cold, what happens?
Yeah, it's similar where like there's just a lot of players that just don't play. They may play a lot. The same with the NBA. You shrink your roster down to play the certain players, and you kind of have that figured out. And you're right. You don't give somebody a chance to get hot by just keeping it. It's just it's not as dramatic as a 2-quarterback system, but it's kind of the same aspect of if you're not going to leave a quarterback in there long enough to really get a feel for the game that's happening. Because in Stanley Cup playoff hockey is a whole different animal. It may be the biggest difference in between. You're talking about regular season and playoff. I think hockey is the biggest difference, and game plans change, and I agree with you.
It's the hardest trophy to win in sports, man.
Yeah.
The Weather Trophy makes you win 16 games after playing 82 and beating the hell out of each other. And then the only thing that happens in the playoffs is the hits get harder.
Yeah.
We're seeing it.
You don't get a break playing crappy teams here and there. It's every game's against a good team.
Yeah. And that's, I think teams the Stars are going to go well because, you guys were playing meaningful hockey up until the last week. So you guys got players who are veterans ready to go who know what's required of them. Now for my co-host Adam's questions, let's pull him up because he sent me a whole bunch. We covered several of them. There's my buddy Scott texting me. Where is it? Adam, there we go. So, oh crap! Here's the big one. Here's the big one we forgot. Comeback. Cue the comeback. I have it written here. Did you guys watch any of the games this past week? The NHL playoff games, specifically the game, the Monday Canes comeback in the last 2 minutes of the game.
I watched the first part of that game. I didn't watch the whole game.
The Canes were buried, and they scored 3 goals in the last 4. It wasn't even 4 minutes. It was 2.5 minutes. Now, granted, one of those was an empty netter, but either way, they went from down 1 to up 1 to up 2 in about a minute. and just stole a game. They should have won. They should have been ahead to begin with. You know, the Islanders just got really great goaltending, but that was an insane comeback. Not only that, you know, the Rangers came back from 2 down. The Panthers came back from 2 down. Like it's been a set of comebacks the last 3 games, or the last 2 nights rather. Yeah. Going forward, I got a breakdown here. You know, Florida over Tampa's got 2 games. The Rangers over Caps 2 games. We got a tie in Winnipeg and Colorado, tie in Nashville and Vancouver. Boston just went up 2-1 tonight, in convincing fashion. I know it was a closer game, but I really feel like watching that game, Toronto looked demoralized. We're gonna find out what happens here in Vegas. Right now, Edmonton's over LA 1-0 in the series, and then I think, you know, Carolina is gonna finish running away with this game, with this series, and with the Islanders, along with, you know, the Rangers are gonna run away. The New York Rangers are gonna run away from the Caps. But I think the most, you know, right now intriguing is going to be, oddly enough, what your Stars can do. You guys got a very complete roster and a great goaltender, and I'm watching you guys right now playing actually really great defense on the 4-4. Them to me is the big question mark. I feel like we got a good idea of who everybody else is outside the Jets. The Stars are the question mark.
I mean,
what do you think your Stars do?
I mean, I think the Stars are playing just fine. My biggest thing for them in that game 1 was they struggled on penalty killing. They just ended up giving up 2 goals in the penalties. And that was obviously the big difference in the game for them. But anyway, we need to move on from NHL now, so we move into the NFL draft. We're going to run out of time. No, you're good. So main topic for us, I figured we can at least talk about these like top 5 picks. It'll actually be top 6 since the Giants got number 6. And then we'll fast forward a little bit through the draft to 22 and 24, where Philadelphia and the Cowboys pick. So right off the top here, Kenny, you were saying just before we were starting the show, Chicago looks all but locked into draft Caleb Williams, number 1 overall, but you're convinced he's a bust.
I am 100% convinced he's going to be Ryan Leaf 2.0. I think he's going to be a problem.
That's wow. Don't hold back.
I think he's going to be a problem. The dude hopped into the stands and cried into his mom's boobs because he lost a football game, and then painted his nails and cried about it. Like his head's not there, man. To play NFL football, you got to have the right headspace. There's a reason Fitzmagic works every time he shows up somewhere and just has to be a backup quarterback and step in and play. It's because he doesn't let his brain go haywire. Caleb Williams is going to be a problem for anybody he's on a roster for. And I guarantee you he's going to get 3 teams to give him a chance. And all 3 teams are going to go, well, that was dumb. And number 1, the Bears, they're going to regret trading Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to put up better numbers and have a better overall career than Caleb Williams. Because quite frankly, Caleb Williams to me is modern day Jamarcus Russell.
All right. Well, I mean, can we all agree that we think Chicago should, in fact, draft a quarterback number 1 overall, having traded away Justin Fields?
Well, you committed to doing so.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, okay, yeah.
So if you don't take Caleb Williams, number 1 for Chicago, where do you go?
I think you trade out of the pick, honestly, because this isn't a huge, like, if you're not sold on Caleb Williams and you're not going to draft quarterback number 1 overall, the value's just not there to draft anything else. Trade back and get some picks out of it. Build up your roster around it, because I think that's what Justin Fields' issue was. mainly is he hasn't had the team around him to even be successful. But
I mean, in
that's
all
just-
honesty, not that I hate that idea, right? But to play devil's advocate a little bit here, you don't think taking like Jaden Daniels or Drake May at that number one spot would be worth it? Because in all honesty, I guess what I'm even thinking, well, you know what, we'll just stick with that
that's
and we'll say
high.
the second part.
I think that's high for those players.
Okay.
For Jaden Daniels is going to be gone by 4. In all
No, that's what I'm
honesty.
saying. You could trade from 1 to 3 and get some sort of haul for it. You know, I think you're getting, you know, who's at number 3, who's picking at 3 or even 4. You could trade your one and go back to 3 or 4.
New England at
Poss-
3, Cardinals
Possibly
at 4.
get another. You'll get the second round pick for that draft, maybe like a 4th or a 5th. But I think you get a first round pick for the next season.
Honestly,
Pulling
what I would
back
say,
a few players.
the team that's been shopping around, looking to move up a little bit, and wouldn't make the Bears drop too dramatically. Minnesota's looking to move up and draft a quarterback to replace
That's true. That's a good
Cousins. So, I mean, you could probably get some value, obviously, out of that trade, and you might still be able to grab a quarterback at 11.
Hey, boys, give me 2 seconds. Someone's knocking on my door weirdly. So,
Yeah, you're good.
If we hear a gunshot, we'll call the police.
Right. Well, it's on mute now, so we'll never.
if you
know.
hear a gunshot, it's my gun. Trust me.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, no, I mean the Bears are obviously committed to taking quarterback. They got rid of Justin Fields. His trade stock would have gone down if you went ahead and drafted Caleb Williams. Then they're like, well, you have to get rid of him now. So, you know, I think teams would hold off. I think they got what they got for him, and they're obviously going to go for a quarterback. And I don't know. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams either. I don't know that I think he's going to be a huge bust. I think the chances of that are high. But with the number 1 overall pick, if you're going to take a quarterback, it's probably better just like you've committed, just go ahead and take it. And if it doesn't work out, you're back in this place 4 years from now, 5 years from now, you're back in the same position. But I'm a fan of build your team as much as you can around, and then you go draft your quarterback. It's kind of worked out. I know if Houston's had a million draft picks because of trading Deshaun Watson. So they've had picks to throw at other positions, but you take that quarterback, the clock starts ticking. You're going to have, if he works out, you're going to pay him $50 million. Probably in 4 years, it'd be $60-70 million. But
if he sucks and you're the Giants, you're going to pay him.
That's true.
I mean,
but the idea is you want to go all out when not the Cowboys all in, but you want to go all in when your quarterback is still on his rookie deal. So it's like build around him and then go get your quarterback. And if he's a good quarterback, you have a really good quarterback on a rookie contract for 4 years or however long, and have a chance to do something. Because once you pay your quarterback, assuming it's because he's really good or not, or the Giants are just, I guess, worried of where they would be if they went back into quarterback purgatory. You're going to pay your quarterback anyways, and then that's going to, kind of tie your hands later down the road when you have to pay other players that are really good.
Hey, before we move on here, since we're talking about the Bears, where did the Washington football team pick? Or the Commanders? The dumbest name, by the way, ever.
2?
They should have been the Red Tails. Where did the Commanders pick?
I was literally bringing that up. So Washington picks second. Also, obviously, in need of a quarterback. They also need everything in Washington. Actually, I got it: quarterback, receiver, offensive line, corner, edge, linebacker. They're pretty.
But
much,
here's the question: if you're Chicago, who was Justin Fields' favorite target at Ohio State? Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
If you're Chicago, why don't you trade down
and get Marvin? I heard they were going to take Caleb Williams and then trade up and take Marvin Harrison Jr. if they could.
I mean,
there's no way.
There's plenty of evaluations that actually have Marvin Harrison Jr. as the number one pick of this draft. He's the best player.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it out of the top 5. You would have to go
no,
you'd have to go
no
all
way.
out.
Hey, listen, as a Giants fan, I'm praying he drops. I'm praying he drops. I want him on my Giants.
If he drops past 4, I'd be very surprised because there's no way. I mean, in all honesty, Chicago and Washington are probably both going quarterbacks. New England could go quarterback. They could go receiver. They could go O-line. I mean, it's a bit more of a question mark at number 3. But then you come to Arizona at number 4, and they're looking for somebody for Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
And Harrison would be a fantastic fit for that situation in Arizona. So I just don't see him dropping past 4.
I don't think
maybe he goes to
Arizona takes him unless
3,
somebody trades
but
up.
4 would be. Yeah,
I think he's going 3. I think he's going to go.
Whoever New England has,
you think
whoever
New England will take
is
him?
their quarterback. New England has an idea who they want their quarterback to be, and if that's not the, if that quarterback gets taken in the first 2 picks, I think they say screw it. Let's, take your receiver and worry about quarterback later.
Take your best available. Yeah. It's been their MO for how long? Take the best available.
Well, for sure. And then with I'm already dropping his name. The new coach for New England. I don't think he's
honestly, I've forgotten to.
Is it Gerard Mayo? Is that right? I don't know. Anyway, with the new coaching staff and everything, head coach and everything there, I can totally see how New England would be ready to kind of maybe not necessarily spend a first-round draft pick on a quarterback, but definitely get themselves like a rookie quarterback that they can start to kind of breed into their new system that they're going to start building on and everything.
Matt Jones didn't work. We tried that. They're gonna. I think New England's gonna take the long haul, approach. In all honesty, I think is what New England's gonna do. I think Kraft is gonna take more of that. Not Jerry Jones, dude from Oakland whose name is now escaping me.
Al Davis. Or
Mark Davis, thank you.
Mark Davis now.
Mark Davis is the one with the terrible haircut. I'm talking about his dad. Where his dad made all the damn decisions that were terrible, including signing Jamarcus Russell again. I think Robert Kraft is getting into those years where he is sort of senile, but like knows enough to know what's going on, but can't make the right decisions. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to try. He's going to, absolutely. Right after his, things I'm not going to mention. But I think he's going to try to be like, I can do what Belichick did. I'll take the best available. And he's just going to fill out that roster with a whole bunch of stars in random positions, and none of them are going to work together. I think we're going back to the Bledsoe era.
You know how gamblers are always chasing that big win, man. You think he hit the jackpot once with Brady, he could do it again, you
hit it 6 times with Brady.
For sure.
Let's be real.
All right, so let's say that New England does in fact take Marvin Harrison Jr. there at 3, leaving Arizona to pick a different wide receiver. Any other receivers that y'all are liking? Because man, this is a crazy heavy offensive first round probably that we're about to see. There's a ton of offensive linemen, plenty of receivers. I think there's about a dozen quarterbacks. So I mean, it's an offensive heavy draft we're about to see coming up tomorrow.
Right,
Arizona,
so you want to
not taking Marvin Harrison because he's going to New England, is what we're saying.
Even if Marvin Harrison Jr. is available, I think Arizona goes a different direction. I think Arizona goes Malik Nabers, the kid from LSU.
He's very good.
He
and LSU actually has 2 top wide receiver prospects in this.
Oh draft,
yeah. So,
but I think he fits that
being the other.
I think he fits that super speed aspect that
he does.
Kyler Murray needs coming across the middle, being a shorter quarterback. Like that Drew Brees style. You need that slot guy who is lightning fast that you can see. What's Kyler Murray? 5'10", 5'11"? He ain't big.
Yeah.
You need that lightning fast. that you can get right in that slot who can create space and just take off. I think Nabers fits better in Arizona for their system. Maybe that's wishful thinking that, God forbid Marvin Harrison drops, he comes to my Giants, but I think that's the one. That's the better fit for Arizona. Also, still 1-1 halfway through the second, guys.
And the Rangers just won. The Texas Rangers.
Bochy is still over 500. Just saying.
Just saying. At least for a couple more days, for sure.
Still doesn't have a losing record.
He'll be. I don't know how high he'll go, but I think Xavier Worthy is going to be a big one. Maybe that's just my bias talking, being a Texas fan. But what's he projected to go, like mid teens or something like that? I don't think
he put up the fastest 40.
I heard 12 to 15 is what the last I saw on the mock draft.
That's if you like him, you could trade back to go grab him. But yeah, you're definitely not taking him.
I'll be honest with you.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. That's not a bad trade back. Like, especially for a team like the Giants, we're not taking a quarterback with Daniel Jones. At least I swear to God, if they do, I'm picking a new team. Like, you got the guy under contract. You lost Saquon Barkley, lifelong Giants fan, who only ever wanted to play for this team. You let him walk for Daniel Jones. If you take a quarterback this year, So I hope a guy like that, the Giants realize, trade back, give Daniel Jones a real receiver. Let's see what happens.
For sure. But we'll get there. You're getting ahead of me now.
Sorry.
To be honest, I was actually kind of going to say the same thing about Arizona and the Cardinals. I really like Xavier Worthy, and Kenny, you had a good point. I think Arizona's totally looking for some speed to stick in that slot and possibly throw on the outside edge to just kind of give Kyler Murray some different looks. But they need a fast guy. Xavier Worthy put up the fastest 40. Unfortunately, he's actually not my favorite Texas receiver. I like Mitchell better than I like Worthy. Mitchell's got the better size and build to him. He's, in my opinion, like the better built receiver. And he's only like 0.2 slower than Worthy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so significant, and he's a bigger, tougher guy, So I think there would be value there, but I don't think either one of these guys is going to get drafted number 4 when they can definitely get drafted like number 12 or something, right? But that brings up kind of what I was just talking about a little earlier too, with Minnesota looking to move up in order to like probably get a better quarterback. This would be a possible landing spot for them, because Arizona could totally trade down to 11 and probably still get somebody like Worthy or Mitchell to help fill in that slot and not have to do like the big payday for a guy like Nabers, who I like. I don't necessarily know if I think he's my favorite fit for the Cardinals.
But then if you're trading down, if you're the Cardinals, or you need a quarterback, right? You're saying? So
no. The Cardinals
what's the quarterback?
I'm
sorry. You're trading up. Yeah, Minnesota. Who are you taking at that pick?
Honestly, the big thing for Minnesota is I think it all kind of depends on where they can manage to get a trade to move up. If they stay at 11, probably something like JJ McCarthy or something like that. And I really like JJ McCarthy, but I don't know how well I think he fits in Minnesota.
I don't think JJ McCarthy is going to do crap in the NFL.
No,
I think he's going to end up being a great. I think he's going to be a great offensive coordinator. He might be your Alex Smith type guy, good game manager, is not going to lose you games. I don't see him doing much more than that. I just don't. Like, in fairness,
as far as pocket passers go, I think JJ McCarthy is probably my favorite quarterback in this one. There's a number of these guys that are much more mobile. Michael Penix, Jaden Daniels, Michael Pratt, even Bo Nix a little bit to an extent. Man, I like Penix Jr. I don't know if I expect to see him do well in the league or not.
I'm afraid of the knees.
I think it'll depend on where he lands, and I'm worried about his knees.
I love him. Like I'm an Ohio State guy. I'm an Ohio State alumni. I've watched Michael Penix at Indiana. The dude at Indiana was. Indiana's never hung with Ohio State in the last 20 years. Michael Penix is on the field. They hang every single game. Michael Penix doesn't lose games. He keeps his teams in games despite his body falling apart.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with him is I think his body's going to finish falling apart. And he's going to end up RG3, which, you know what? Good for RG3. He's made a great career for himself as, in all honesty, one of the best analysts in football right now.
Who's got great personality for TV. I mean, he's a funny guy and he knows his stuff. So, I mean, good on him, But honestly, when he came into the league, I felt like I already knew what his story was going to be because he had already had 2 ACL surgeries, and it was like, man, you don't come into the NFL. He had
2 other knee surgeries too.
Yeah, and then he immediately ended up having to have more, and it was like, man, it's just.
And then he came back.
I hate saying it's a sad story, but it kind of is, But yeah, still and still with like nothing in his knee, he managed to be a tough football player. I mean, he was good. All right, I say we'll skip ahead just a little bit here. Don't necessarily have to talk about the Chargers so much. They're picking number 5. I'm assuming that they're also going to go receiver. So just off the top of our list here, let's say that at numbers 1, 2, and 3, let's just say New England goes quarterback as well, for the sake of argument. And then at number 4 and 5, they go receivers, right? So Arizona, we'll say, takes Marvin Harris, and the Chargers go ahead and take Malik Nabbers. We're coming up on the New York Giants and our resident Giants fan, Kenny.
The New York football.
You were literally
Giants
just talking about this. That's why I had to cut you off about it.
Overall pick. With
but
the
do you
6th
think
overall pick.
there's any possibility that the Giants seek a replacement for Daniel Jones, or are you really hoping that they just get you a receiver and kind of try to build with what they got?
You're not gonna. My head shows neither of those. In all honesty, I don't think the Giants are in a position to do anything with Daniel Jones right now. They've already committed the money. They've already lost. Saquon.
Oh.
I think what the Giants do, and I think it's the only smart move, is they take Blake Corum at 6 overall. Running back, University of Michigan, as much as that pains me to say, I think that is the Giants' best pick because Daniel, he's a back who can catch out of the backfield and turn upfield. And I do not see anybody better in the NCAA right now, available in the draft, who can catch out of the backfield when Daniel Jones immediately panics when he sees his first options covered and he checks down. So you need a guy who can catch if that's your quarterback. And quite frankly, the amount of money that's in Daniel Jones, that's your quarterback. There's nothing you can do. You draft anybody else, Daniel Jones is not showing up to training camp.
Man,
He's just
I'm not going to
not.
lie to you. That's a very interesting decision. There are maybe a handful of running backs expected to be drafted in this first round. And you're actually expecting or want New York to spend a 6th round pick on one.
No, I think they're going to spend their first round pick on Blake Corum. I don't think it's the right decision. And I think the other option is that they spend it on JJ McCarthy and then they just create a giant mess for themselves and basically piss all over their own shoes. I feel like the Giants, with the way they've drafted, they're just going to crap all over themselves no matter what they do. And I think Blake Corum is the way they can crap on themselves the least amount. So I'm hoping they pick that. If not, I mean, who else you got on the board? I mean, the entire offensive line needs revamped. We need a quarterback. We need a running back because you just let arguably the best running back in the league walk to your biggest rival.
Yeah, I have running
Literally
back
right down
number
the
3
street.
on my list of needs for the Giants, but I would get a receiver And honestly, if I'm not going receiver, if I'm the Giants, I'm going offensive line. You got to shore up that O line. Y'all need a tackle real bad.
So Nabers is gone. MHJ is gone. Who are you taking at receiver?
Adunze out of Washington. I mean, he was real strong. Cool. He played well with Penix Jr. and everything. He was a reliable guy. And I mean, it's not that you don't have any targets in New York, but
no, they've given a lot of targets. Like, but like what you're saying is
you're definitely going to have to figure out a way to create some like quick second looks for him to kind of check down to and get the ball out, especially if you're not like shoring up this O line. You know, if your decision is to get an offensive player, I'm going to argue you should get a receiver that's going to help you stretch the field. And you can work on that timing and that relationship a little bit more. I think it's going to be more valuable to you than getting yourself a mediocre running back that you could probably get in the second, third round.
Cool. I hate to be that guy, but Kadarius Toney, we'll start there. Odell Beckham, how many times do you want me to stretch the field where the Giants don't do anything with it? The Giants have drafted how many times?
And those guys helped you do that. Unfortunately, you know, like those guys got injured and traded,
didn't play well,
also didn't necessarily have the best attitudes, and you know, I mean, I don't know, culture, you know, for the Giants and stuff has always been a struggle as well, you know. So I mean,
yeah, you know, bring the whole team on a boat trip and do a whole bunch of cocaine instead of, you know, preparing for the playoffs. And how many?
The 80s were crazy, man.
So I went through. No, I'm talking the 2012s, 2020s.
Oh yeah,
how many times did the Giants from 2010? How many times did the Giants drafted an offensive lineman that did not work out, including one of my favorites? Well, actually, he was a defensive lineman who blew all his damn fingers off because 4th of July is fun, and you know, it just hasn't worked out draft wise for the Giants.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
JPP. His jersey still hangs. His jersey still hangs in my closet. I love JPP. He did really well for the Giants until he decided that the best course of action was
4th of July
was a whole bunch of.
Hey, I think he did great for the fact that he only had 7 fingers.
That Ottinger save. Anybody seeing this?
I just saw it now. Yeah, that was dope. I will say this though, you know, JPP. Yeah, no, it was dumb. And that was JPP's big downfall is JPP, until he got out of New York, couldn't get out of his own way. And that's the problem. You know, if you're on the Giants, you're under a microscope. And it's the same problem your Cowboys have. You know, we're talking, I mean, let's name the 3 biggest franchises in the NFL. It's the Cowboys, it's the Packers, and it's the Giants. Like, I mean, it's arguable outside of.
You're right.
Like, I mean, I'm sure it's real tight as you kind of get down to like the 4, 5, 6 area. You know what I mean? I'm sure it gets real tight.
Well, no, I mean, like if you're doing like your Mount Rushmore,
you know, there's also
right.
You know, like the length of time the teams have been around and the history and everything. The New York football.
Like if you're doing your Mount Rushmore, you add
part of the NFL as long as anybody. Yeah.
Cowboys, Giants, Packers, and then Steelers. That's your Mount Rushmore of like the premier NFL teams, at least in my mind. Mm-hmm. And now that might be.
I mean,
being
I feel like
Northeast,
you can make an argument for like the 49ers.
Yeah, you know they can you know,
like, Steelers even, you know, just some of these teams that have like.
That's what I said. That was my 4th on my Mount Rushmore was the Steelers.
Sorry, my bad, buddy. I missed that. You must have cut out or something.
The Packers were the one that was the question
Packers,
mark.
Yeah, that's also.
But I put the Packers up there.
Good one too, yeah.
I put the Packers up there because one of my buddies, his parents for his birthday when he was born, put him on the list. He is born the same year I was. Put him on the list for Packers season tickets. He got his golden ticket this year that said legit. Nice. a print of Lambeau Field, says the wait is over, your name, you've reached the front, like in gold embossed. And I'm like, dude. And he goes,
Awesome.
I live in New Jersey. What am I going to do? And I'm like, there's a lot of things you can do with those tickets.
All those tickets.
Trust me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, go to one game a year and sell the rest.
Right. All right. So moving from number 6, I want to skip down just a couple here. Chicago Bears actually get a second pick at number 9. So after
I will say this, the Chicago Bears are
1.
brilliant. The Chicago Bears are brilliant for screwing over Carolina. And giving Carolina Bryce Young, because Carolina was so sold on a terrible quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, it was well played by them. They're at least here in a position to hopefully be able to do something. But damn it, if it doesn't feel like the Bears have been in a position to do something for like the last 5 years, and like the Browns, they just can't get it together.
Oddly enough, Dan, the last time the last time the Bears were in the Super Bowl, me and you were at AIT together.
Yeah.
Rex Grossman was the quarterback.
Yeah. Like,
we were in Fort Eustis together.
So Chicago Bears take a quarterback with the first overall pick, and number 9, they come in. What do you think? Defense? Do you get yourself a nice young receiver to go with your shiny new quarterback?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's where Worthy might drop. I mean, that's still a little high for him, but, get him some help. But I don't know if you're sold on Caleb Williams taking over this franchise. Help him out with a defensive player, too.
I think what you got to do here, if you're sold on Caleb Williams, which I'm the opposite, you got to go out there and, quite frankly, we all watched that movie, The Blind Side. You got to protect that left side. You got to get him a tackle.
Yeah.
That's where you start. You find what the best tackle in the country, which, quite frankly, I haven't done the research on. I'll be honest. But that if I'm the Bears, I'm not going and getting him an offensive weapon. I'm getting something that doesn't make him act like Justin Fields, who needs to run 200 yards a game. I'm getting him somebody who can let him throw.
I think that was something in Fields' head. He seemed to be ready to like bail on plays about a half second too early. And if you can get yourself somebody who's strong enough to really hang in there and like understand like how the pocket's collapsing, how much time you actually have before you need to start panicking and scrambling and things like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I figure a little too hard on Justin Fields, but that might be my Ohio State bias. I think it's Justin Fields. I actually like
Justin Fields, but that tends to be like how rookie quarterbacks are, right? They feel the pressure just a little too soon, and then they start to
I'll give you that.
And it's like
I'll give you that.
As experience kind of comes a little bit, you get a little more comfortable with some of that pressure and how you feel the pocket collapse or move around you and stuff, and you tend to make better decisions over time. I personally, I'm with you. I don't think Chicago should have bailed on Justin Fields just yet. I think it was too early. And now they've put themselves in this position where having these 2 top 10 picks, they could take better advantage of this draft if they had Justin Fields on their roster still, but they don't, So, I mean,
that's my point right there. You gave him up for what?
It puts you in this position where, and in all honesty, I'm going to keep bringing it up because Minnesota is, rumored to be wanting to move up. And if Chicago's got 2 top 10 picks, that's definitely leaving you room to possibly get a top 5 quarterback in this draft. The way, not everybody's looking for a quarterback. Plenty of teams are looking to draft like offensive linemen and receivers. So, I mean, you could totally keep like your 9, trade your 1 and get some real value to help you, build this team up and get yourself a top 5 quarterback out of this draft.
Dan, here's the big question though. If you're Minnesota and Chicago calls and says, "Hey, we want Justin Jefferson. We're offering up the first round pick. Make it sweet."
I mean, for a guy like Justin Jefferson, I feel like that's almost like a straight up.
First overall. What'd they get for him? They traded him. What'd they get for him?
What do you mean?
They didn't get first overall. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're right. My bad. No, so Justin Jefferson, are you saying first overall is worth Justin Jefferson?
I mean,
after Kirk Cousins failed,
probably, yeah. I mean,
and you have no quarterback. Okay,
he failed. I mean, he did what he felt was best for him, you know. And honestly, I like the way he matches up in Atlanta, so I think it'll be fun.
In all honesty, yeah.
I feel bad for Minnesota. They love him there, you know, but you know, I
do also have to talk about
what they're doing out there in Atlanta. So
we got to talk about the alleged collusion, for lack of a better phrase, and the punishments coming Atlanta's way. Atlanta getting for tampering, and now coming out of my area rather. Philly is going to court with New York, the Giants, over tampering with Saquon Barkley. New York is accusing the Eagles of tampering with Saquon Barkley's signing as well. But if I'm Minnesota, you're serious? Number 1 overall, Justin Jefferson.
I mean, Justin Jefferson's easily one of the top 5 receivers in the league right now. And I mean, just because he doesn't have
narrow it down 2 or 3
in Minnesota, you know, with him right now, like, I don't know, man. I feel like Justin Jefferson's easily one of the best.
You got to sweeten the deal, though. That number 1 overall pick, though, with Caleb Williams, the most hyped guy in history. You got to sweeten the deal.
I mean, that all depends on how Minnesota's, you know, viewed Caleb Williams or, you know, JJ McCarthy or whoever it is
that's true
to mesh in there.
And then the other one is Steph Diggs. What did Stephon Diggs get traded for? A bag of hockey pucks, basically.
Yeah, like a couple of 5th round picks or something.
Yeah. So how bad did he piss off Josh Allen?
I mean, the rumor's always kind of been that he was a bit.
He was definitely unhappy there.
I lost my train of thought on that goal.
Yeah, he was definitely unhappy there.
2-1, 1 minute left in the second. No, he was definitely unhappy. And he was throw me the ball.
Yeah, he was a bit toxic in the locker room from what rumors say and whatnot. So, and I mean, a lot of times that kind of thing just happens, and you know, teams are ready to just, you know, be done with it. Your performance isn't necessarily good enough for them.
Yeah, it's not worth
with your bullshit, but
like Colin Kaepernick, you know.
But I mean, some teams are also better at dealing with that kind of thing with players. I mean, the Cowboys have been picking up players like that out of free agency forever. We've been picking up the guys with legal trouble.
Oh, you guys got Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens under legit. You guys somehow got TerrellOwens to fit in like this nice little box. I mean, like you guys were the New York Yankees
for a little bit. Anyway,
league that are just willing to look the other way pending your statistic line, you know, like. So, I mean, I don't know.
So that said, Dan, I did ask if we could talk about one thing that makes me laugh very hard.
Yep,
the Denver Broncos.
They're picking at 12. They're picking at 12. The Denver Broncos are, and I've been saying this since we started talking about everything going on with Denver Broncos. This team is still on fire, and apparently they're still just throwing more matches on the fire. They have no intention of trying
I don't think they've thrown a match.
Like,
I don't think they've thrown a match, man. They're just dumb. They're just throwing cans of gas at it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're just
from 50 feet away.
Well, it feels like they started this fire forever ago, and instead of trying to put it out, they're just continuing to add kindling and whatever else will burn. So I assume
you have no faith in Zach Wilson. You have no faith in Zach Wilson then.
No,
I mean,
he
hasn't done anything for the Jets, and I think it's ironic that you would swap one Wilson for another. and not even a better one. Like,
by the way, I think the greatest thing the Broncos could possibly do is make Zach Wilson wear number 3. That way, all their Bronco fans could.
They don't have to get a new jersey.
Yeah, just keep the jersey. Just keep the jersey. Just keep the jersey.
Right, but I need him to be honest about it because I need him to straight up tell him, like, hey, we don't have the money anymore
to buy a new jersey.
So, like, buy a new jersey. So you're gonna have to. I hope whoever the secretary lady is at
maybe
the
that's
front
what all
desk
this
for the
is,
Broncos when they
actually we're gonna play a real fun game here, guys. Everybody put down your phones. Name one of the Broncos' backup quarterbacks to Zach Wilson. Name a single one.
Are we assuming Zach Wilson's going to be the starter? Because I'm not even convinced.
Because I know who the 2 backups are in the quarterback room right now. I know for a fact Zach Wilson's going to be the starter. Because it might as well be Dan Boyer and Ashton Nix in the fucking quarterback room with him.
So who are the quarterbacks?
Literally.
I read
the
it not
quarterbacks.
that long ago. But I know who the second string guy was. I can't remember now.
The quarterback room for the Denver Broncos. Hold on, let me read it. QB depth chart. It's not good.
No, I mean nothing about the Broncos is good.
Jarrett Stidham.
He knows how to win.
And then Ben DiNucci. And then the next are TBD and question marks.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what
going
Denver's
into training
doing.
camp. I don't know
who's in charge over there.
I'll give them this. There is one person who can make Zach Wilson an NFL quarterback. It is Sean Payton.
I mean, he is a quarterback's coach.
Possible.
So
if
I mean,
possible, he can.
That's the only one, right?
Maybe that's why they pay him the big bucks. He must be seeing something we're not. So who knows?
Well, I mean, when you pay a 6th round pick and your dirty laundry from last week,
right? All right, so we fast forward another 10 picks here from Denver's 12 to Philadelphia picking at 22. I feel like this is a pretty straightforward draft for Philadelphia. They got to be going defense. They've literally acquired everything they need offensively out of free agency and everything. So not a lot for them to do. They could go O-line, but that seems a little further down their list. They definitely need a corner. They need a linebacker. They need a safety. So it's got to be defense for Philly, right?
Depending on how I don't know who offensively they have their mindset on, but it would have to be like everybody on their board gets picked up before they, before it gets to them, or they're like, I don't know, maybe draft an offensive.
Hey guys, sorry, I just dropped. Did you guys all just drop?
No, we're still good.
No, you're still good though.
Okay, cool. Y'all just went blank on me.
Oh, you're good.
Philly,
you can hear us now though? Yeah, so I was just saying, Philly's obviously got to be going defense, right? They've got their offense taken care of.
I mean, there's only one spot, and quite frankly, live in the area I do. I live halfway between Philly and New York City. You're not going to draft a center that is Jason Kelce. That's the only other spot I can see them trying to fill. Outside of that, yeah, go defense. I'm not sure which hole you're trying to plug there on the defense, but you're looking, in my opinion, I don't know if you guys said this, you need somebody to run the middle of that defense, because that run it up the middle worked against the Eagles every single game after game 6. They were just shredded.
No, I mean, Jay Villi saying USA Today says offensive tackle. I don't think that's a bad way for Philadelphia to go. But I kind of agree with you, Kenny. I don't necessarily know if you're going to find, like an all-star. I mean, you totally could. There's a lot of talent in this.
You're not going to find a Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
You're not going to find your next Jason Kelce.
It's a tall order for sure. It's going to be tough. And
especially in this
even
area.
If you found someone as talented, I don't know if you find anybody that was as loved in Philadelphia, but
not at all.
But yeah,
even in New York, we hate them and we love Jason Kelce as Giants fans.
That's what I'm saying.
Jason Kelce could show up,
and I agree with
Giants tailgate.
Yeah, and I agree with this. Jay Villies saying or cornerback. I think that would probably be their better decision is go corner. Like I said when I kind of started the whole thing, it's their offense is so stacked right now. I don't see them really having any issues, and I think their offensive line is probably good enough for the speed involved in the rest of their offensive players that I think they're fine on O-line. Might be able to spend like a second round pick or something. Get yourself.
Do you trust Jalen Hurts though?
But, I mean, he moves enough. He stays in the pocket, better than most kind of scramblers and stuff. So I mean, he's not bad, And I fully actually expect the Eagles to run. I fully expect to see the Eagles start running like a very air raid option-y type offense next year. So I mean, I almost kind of expect
Chip
it
Kelly
to be
failed with.
more dependent on the offensive players' speed and movement than it is on the offensive line, like blocking and pushing guys around, But that's just.
I mean, they did get rid of a couple of their faster dudes. Boston Scott's gone. Who are their starters now behind? At running back, DeAndre Swift's still there. I think that's really realistically it in terms of your big names at running back. They're go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, they're still hanging on to Brown, right?
Oh yeah, no, but he's not he's a receiver. He's not a running back.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
You've got it, but that's what I'm saying. You've got enough speed from even your receivers and everything that you can.
Yeah, you can run Devontae Smith back behind. You can run AJ Brown. Yeah, and you get
away more with like less straight up blocking. When you can do like option-y type things like end arounds and three-way options and Hurts can still throw the ball too, but I mean, I think what I'm expecting out of their offense, it's definitely been done before in the NFL. Like they're not the first ones to probably go out and try an option type offense, but I fully expect them to kind of give us a new look at an option type, air raidy kind of offense. I fully expect them to hit us with some massive speed and just throttle everybody,
That's fine, but you also need the center who was capable of doing so, which is Jason Kelce, at least in my opinion.
For sure, but I'm just saying, you can put a center.
You got a speedy center. No, you got a speedy center who can snap and get off the snap and block anywhere.
No, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying.
Finding that. No, I'm just saying, I don't think you find a player like that easily.
No, I mean, I agree with that. I'm just saying it feels like the offense that Philly will end up running will be less reliant on, just a stellar offensive line, and it'll be more reliant on their absolute blistering speed. I mean, the entire team's fast as hell. That entire team's ridiculously fast. For sure. All right, and then we skip down two more. We can wrap this up with these Cowboys, pick number 24. Obviously not the last pick of the first round. I don't have the last picks after that. I just wrote down to 24. But Dallas Cowboys, Ashton, what is your biggest hope for this number one pick for the Cowboys at 24?
And they have so many holes to plug here, but I think you go offensive line. You have Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon. I think is probably the ideal pick for them. You can go Amarius Mims out of Georgia. But, I think they have options to go tackle in the second round. So I think ideally you draft the center out of Oregon, Jackson Powers Johnson, and then go do like a draft Jordan Morgan out of Arizona in the second round, and you kind of bolster your front offensive line to go with Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, and then you know hopefully they all work out.
Well, we lost Tyron Smith.
Taylor.
I like
Tyler Smith. Not Tyron.
Tyron Smith, the left tackle, and our center, Tyler Biadasz.
Biotish. No, you have Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler
yeah,
Smith. Tyler Smith. So you Tyler Smith, Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, and you hopefully now that Jackson Powers Johnson, that's if he's still there at 24, but I think you pick him and then you can get a tackle in the second round. If you don't go like defensive line, I know you need a running back, but that's probably more like a third round.
Yeah.
Before we start looking.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that center. You know, you look at what it did for the Eagles, and I hate the Eagles as a Giants fan. Look at what the Eagles did building around a center. They won a Super Bowl around a center who made that team. And I think that center from Oregon can be that for the Cowboys. As much as I hate to say it,
yeah,
Dak's going to win a Super Bowl either for you guys or for someone else. He's either going to be, the Matt Stafford who goes elsewhere, or he's going to win it for you guys. I am not with the rest of the NFL pundits who think he's a bust. The crap end of the stick.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys, since they lost Travis Frederick, have kind of had that hole in the offensive line. They've been filling it with pretty decent centers, but nothing great.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Cowboys' number one concern should be either a center or a tackle. Just shore up this O-line. I'm totally with you, Ashton. I feel like I've been saying it for a long time too. I'm so number one on shoring up your O-line. You don't need a first round draft pick running back to put behind like a really good offensive line. Your offensive line will make a mediocre running back look stellar. So I fully believe that if the Cowboys can just shore up their O-line with obviously you need a talented, rookie to come in, but I mean, you've got enough talent on the O-line currently. You bring a rookie in, they'll be able to help him out and help fill in the gaps a little bit and carry him a little bit, teach him. And I believe that's going to be the biggest thing that the Cowboys can do in this draft. I mean, I think, obviously getting like a running back or, whatever would be crazy foolish because there aren't hardly any running backs that are first round worthy, really. I think you can totally get away with getting one in,
and they have,
second or third round.
Get a great running back. You have to have the offensive line for him to run behind.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of halfway decent running backs who are going to do well at the NFL level that are going to be available. Again, like Corum. What I said was, I think the Giants are going to make a dumb pick. Pick Blake Corum. If you're going to make a dumb pick, at least make it a good dumb pick.
Yeah.
That's my whole point.
I think the only alternate pick I would be okay with seeing the Cowboys make here would be for like a middle linebacker. Gotta replace the werewolf. I mean, I love him, but damn it if he's not a glass cannon, and it's rough out there, man. So that would probably be the only other pick that I would probably be okay with, but I would really, really prefer to see him go O-line, especially probably center, just to shore that up. All right, well, that's about everything I got written down for us for this week on the sports page. It's always been fun. We actually even went a little longer than I was anticipating. Kenny's been having a little bit of technical issues here for like the last 5-10 minutes. It feels like we're trying to work all that out.
No. I have
weird
ass neighbors. I have weird ass neighbors, and I live at the end of a street that apparently has turned into, hey, let me knock on your door. Is this where I'm looking for? No, it's not. And rather than have a 120-pound dog scream in your ears, because
I gotcha.
Tell him to
Come
go
here,
on the podcast,
here,
man.
Bubba.
Tell him to go on the podcast.
Come on,
Say, hey,
come
no.
on. Hold on,
You're
I'm
not,
trying
but
to get
you
him.
come on
Trying to
the
get
show.
the big old boy. Here's the big bubby. That's about as good as I can get his face. There he is. There's the big old man. The 12-year-old German Shepherd. So instead of having him scream at the door, which has happened multiple times,
no, you're good.
much rather have him mute the mic and go, can you please not be outside my door?
Right.
With that said, I got to plug the Shut the Puck Up podcast because we forgot something. So I'm wearing a hat. This hat, I got it in Iceland, and it is the actual Icelandic hockey and football team, football, like European football logo. But the hockey podcast, Shut the Puck Up, we officially launched on the release day, the premiere day of the Mighty Ducks 2. So, guys, if I can bug you for a minute, what's your favorite sports movie, guys? And then I'll let y'all go because
Hoosiers.
I love taking over for a minute. Oh,
Hoosiers
show your
is,
work.
Hoosiers
it's
is
fine.
my
We
Show
favorite.
your work, Ashton. That's a great one.
What do you mean, show my work? Do I need to prove that it's
Why?
my favorite?
Why? Oh no! Just like why? Like, give me like 3 reasons why.
Maybe I'm just that white guy that loves watching fundamental basketball and good coaching stories.
What is this? Sorry, I missed the movie.
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers.
Yeah,
Hoosiers.
good one.
Yeah.
Good
so
Oh
I
wait, who
give-
played
I
the coach in that?
Gene Hackman.
I
I understand that.
great role. Great role.
I understand that people are like, that's such a boring movie, and I'm like, yeah, you got to like really get into. It's a coaching movie more than it is a play, a team movie. I don't know. That's a good question. Why do I think it's been my favorite movie as long as I can remember, or my favorite sports movie, and when it's on, I can just watch it, and I've never had anybody sit and be like, oh yeah, I like this movie too. It's always like, this is a boring movie. I don't like. Maybe if you don't understand,
Oddly enough, Ashton, I'm with you. My stepdad showed me that movie when I was like 6. Showed me that movie when I was like 6 because I'm like, basketball's boring, and he goes, you don't understand college basketball. Watch this, and it's Gene Hackman with a damn tape measure. See,
tape measure.
it's still 10 feet.
And in that movie,
that scene,
if you don't watch it and stay into it, like you can jump in at a random part and you're like, you don't know what the hell is going on. So that may be part of it.
Well, it's also, my favorite coach of all time, Sergei Starikov, was my hockey coach for 4 years. He was on the wrong side of, the 1980 Olympic team. But that is one of those movies where it's just like, yes, coaching decides sports. This right here. And, great. One of my favorite of all time. I'm glad you said that. That's like on my Mount Rushmore of sports movies because you don't get a better performance out of Gene Hackman than Hoosiers. Bringing the whole team out on the court, measuring every ounce. See, it's the same.
Yeah.
Great movie. Dan, what's yours?
Man, there's so many really good ones that I freaking love. Coach Carter.
I mean, I can go first.
Man, I feel like there's so many I can't necessarily go wrong. I think I'm going to go with The Replacements.
Another one, Gene Hackman's.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good. That's kind of a.
Keanu with
Keanu Reeves,
the electric slide.
Right.
It's a very
Favreau.
cheesy movie, but it's like a fun cheesy. Like, yeah, I like that too. I like the
and it's like it's an underdog tale.
See, that's one of the. That's one to me that it's more like like The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Where it's more
I like
that
The Longest
cheesy
Yard.
sports movie.
But see, I like a lot of those older
the
movies too,
Caddyshack.
or even the ones that are like a little more history, like Glory Road or like Rudy. Rudy's a great one.
Oh, Rudy's fantastic. Oddly enough, one of the linemen for that team that Rutledge was on was my old boss at Point Phillips Hotel in Bath, Pennsylvania. He played he played the line and was a 4-year starter at Notre Dame and owns the restaurant.
Nice.
But I'm pretty sure y'all can guess my favorite sports movie, and it's based on a true story.
Miracle.
Yeah, that's what.
There
that
it
was gonna be my
is.
guess.
There
Miracle,
it
yeah.
is.
That's a great one too, though. Man.
have-
That's a really good one. Nothing wrong
I
with that
have
movie.
played from the age of 4 on, probably 18 times on that same ice. And walking out on that ice, you take that first step. You guys played football. I know there's certain fields that are just different. You take one step out on that ice, and every hair in your body just stands on end.
Yeah,
Because you understand where you're standing.
that movie's definitely one of the the biggest. When Al Michaels, "Do You Believe in Miracles" call, it's like gives you chills more than most movies do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, even
but
the
having-
coaching speeches he gives in that one are
Yeah.
just,
Yeah,
no. Herb Brooks was one
You
of the
worry
first
about
coaches of the
yourself.
New Jersey Devils. One of the first coaches of the New Jersey Devils was Herb Brooks. I've met the man probably like 9 times in my life. Meeting him is one thing. It's really cool. Very great dude. May he rest in peace. There's something different about that ice. You put a foot on it, and like every hair, like it's electric. You feel like electricity going through your body from your feet to your head to like, I'm going to play the best game of my damn life right here, right now. And I'm not sure how much of that had to do, like I played there before the Miracle movie came out, but that movie, I've had a lot of coaches sit there on the end of the ice. Oh, you guys don't want to skate today? That's cool. We'll skate now, and just sit there with a whistle.
Yeah.
We'll do the same thing, and that's just hockey.
I feel like it's always a little bit different too, though, when you can like almost kind of touch a little bit of history, like it's always kind of cool to be able to connect with history a little bit like that.
Oh, sit on that bench. Sit on the bench where Mike Eruzione sat. Like, yeah, no, it's,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure it's different for you guys. You guys, Texas college or Texas high school football is quite frankly, the top. Like it's you guys and Minnesota high school hockey. That's like the only thing that exists in terms of high school sports. And that's coming from someone who lives in Easton, Pennsylvania, which is home of the longest running high school sports rivalry in history. Easton and Phillipsburg, Easton, Pennsylvania, Phillipsburg, New Jersey, have been playing football on Thanksgiving Day. I think it's 122 years now or something ridiculous like that. So,
all right. Well, we're gonna call it a night.
That said,
it's almost been 2 hours.
You guys,
we're like 25 minutes over what I'm usually shooting for, but it's been fun.
All I'm saying is you guys get the nod in terms of high school football.
I mean,
but boys, it's been fun.
Texas
It's been
football,
fun. Thank you for having me
down here. But yeah, man, for sure. It's
it
always
is.
great having you here. Be sure to check out the new podcast. Go puck yourself. Kenny, what day are y'all doing the? Have you
we'll be
worked out
back
a day?
on. We have not worked out the official date yet. Unfortunately, Adam is changing jobs and going through a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, for
and
sure. Yeah.
Well,
don't forget to just like and subscribe us. Yeah, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications and see when the next Go Puck Yourself episode shows up on our YouTube channel. But in the meantime,
absolutely,
I am Dan Boyer, aka Neon Super Shrimp, Ashton Nix, Kenny, aka Reckless. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next week. Man, so many great movies too, though. Major League.
Field of
Oh,
Dreams.
dude, I forgot
Greatest
about
game
that.
ever played. Also a good one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, we can
Dodgeball?
even go into like the extreme sports. What was that, Gleaming the Cube? That 80